Are we entering a new era of Eagles football? A new youth movement of Eagles football? How he's cooking something up here. He's cooking up the next way to build football teams. He really is. We're live talking all things Eagles and their new era, their new player, their new Georgia Bulldog. We're talking Lane Johnson. We're talking lots of things. Early start time today. Trending the AM. We're live taking your thoughts and opinions in 30 seconds.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 woo!
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live. Facebook, not Facebook. Why am I saying Facebook? I'm looking at my Facebook tab. We're live on YouTube and Twitter. Guys, please smash that like button, whichever platform you're on. Share it out on every platform and subscribe, follow on either platform. And please, if you're watching on Twitter, please head over to the STT Sports Network YouTube page and hit subscribe. Starting the show at 473 subscribers. 27 away from that first major threshold for me, 500 subscribers. So I would love to see you all jump in and hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me, guys. Everybody, we are having a fun day today. A little early start time because we got to have an early wrap-up time. Lots of work happening at the pizza shop today. So got to get the comments in, got to get the conversation going early today. Got a special guest. I see Marshawn in the chat. Tomorrow, you're not going to want to miss it. Reschedule has finally happened tomorrow morning live, 8:30 on this channel for up to an hour. The legendary JPP Zapata, a.k.a. El Parcero, will be joining us here for 45 minutes to an hour, talking all things 5 for 5 Philly sports. So you're not going to want to miss that. And, of course, tonight, Fairway to Heaven, tonight at 6 p.m., talking the Valspar Championship. We'll get into that as well. But we are talking Eagles to kick off today. All dogs go to Philly. Yes, the Eagles make another Georgia Bulldog. Georgia Bulldog signing, and I like it. And I like it a lot. Bonus time. Well, it's bonus early time because we're cutting off early because we got to get to work. So it is what it is. Justin Simmons has to make a blood pact to show loyalty to Uncle Vic. No way he's still available. This is what we thought last year about Justin Simmons, Marshawn. Last year, Justin Simmons was available awfully late into the offseason. I think it was like near training camp before he signed with the Falcons, was it last year? Very surprised he lasted, and he did. And he's there again this year. We all assumed he was coming last year. Maybe Uncle Vic or Simmons don't want to play together. I'm just saying. We all assume they're a perfect match. Maybe not. I don't know. But, yeah, L. Peasy, is that what we call him? I'm going to remind me to call him that tomorrow. L. Peasy, we'll call him tomorrow. Gotcha. But no, first and foremost, the Eagles did make a signing, another Georgia Bulldog from that 2020 college football team, former second-round pick in the 2021 draft, Azeez Ojulari. Azeez Ojulari, defensive end, edge rusher, outside linebacker, whatever you want to call it, from the New York Football Giants. Brought in on a one-year, $4 million deal, adding him to Uche, Jalen Hunt, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Moro Jomo, this stout defensive line that the Eagles have built that are all like 25 or 26 years old or younger. The kid's 24 years old, and he's already played 4 NFL seasons. Ojulari. So it's very, very, very interesting. But besides the Georgia Bulldog connection, it's just this new way Howie has going right now of bringing in now up to 8 one-year contracts on players. Buy low, sell high players. And I absolutely love it. Draft well, pay well, and then just fill in with huge upside guys. And sign enough to low contracts where some of them don't work out. It doesn't mess anything up. It's just something really, really interesting on how he's building this football team. And this Ojulari pickup yesterday is actually a slam dunk pick. 22 sacks in 46 games. Between Ojulari and Joshua Uche, you spent about $6 million combined. Josh Sweat went for almost $80 million. Is there that big of a drop-off between those three players? No. I think it's a really smart move. What does Uncle Vic have not like about Justin? I didn't say he didn't like him. But he should have been signed last year, and he wasn't. Because there was a plan for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, I guess. I'm saying maybe they're a perfect pair. You know, Vic Fangio's defense and Justin Simmons. They've worked well together result-wise on the field. There's got to be a reason now. He's a free agent 2 years in a row, and the Eagles haven't brought him in. I'm not sure what the reason is. I'm saying maybe Uncle Vic and him don't get along as well as we think. Maybe Justin Simmons doesn't want to play with him. Maybe Vic Fangio doesn't think he's the perfect fit. Maybe Uncle Vic likes certain guys here. I don't know what the answer is, Marshawn, but it seems kind of odd 2 years in a row now that this is going on. Stuck the landing on that pronunciation. I asked for, it's funny, Ojulari. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Because when the signing happened, I saw the name, and I knew you guys would love the name pronunciation on here. I put out a tweet. Can somebody phonetically spell Ojulari's name? And I got 9 different phonetically spelled pronunciations for it. So I had to go online and listen to how it was said by people in the media. So kind of funny that literally 9 people pronounced it completely different. Why such a low price on who? Ojulari? What's up, Relaunch? Hope you're well this morning. Low price on Ojulari would be because, in my opinion, he does have an injury issue. He is coming from the New York Giants. I mean, he has played only he's been in the league 4 years, and he's played 46 games. He missed, the only season he played a complete season was his rookie year. He played 11 games the last 2 years. He played 7 games in his sophomore season. I think you're getting a prove-it cheap deal because, A, he wants to come play with his Bulldogs, his fellow Bulldogs. B, you take that chance on a 1-year deal because you're going to thrive with Jalen Carter and this defense. And then you're going to get a big deal somewhere else next offseason. And then Howie Roseman will get another compensatory pick. He maxed out the compensatory picks this year for 2026. Now, next year, he's going to get 4 more. And that's kind of what Howie's doing. Howie's getting these 1-year deals, he's turning them into comp picks, and he's going to keep drafting well. That's the plan. That's the expectation, this new era of football that Howie Roseman's building. Maybe they don't get along. I honestly don't. I'm just trying to come up like Marshawn. I don't understand. I think Justin Simmons would be perfect here. I thought he would be perfect here last year. It didn't happen. And I don't remember when, but it was late in the offseason, well past the draft, when Justin Simmons finally signed with the Falcons. And now here we are a week through free agency, and he's available again. And it just doesn't make sense to me. There's competition everywhere, but yeah, exactly. And, well, is there? You got the other Georgia Bulldog. Is it Seen or Sign that could play there? You got Tristan McCullum. So technically they have competition, just not great competition. I fully expect them to draft a safety somewhere in rounds 3 through 5 for more competition. But you would think a veteran presence in the secondary, even to the level of a Terrell Edmonds a few years ago, that gets cut 2 weeks into the season or 3 weeks into the season, or traded, whatever we did with him, just to ease the transition for Sidney Brown. I'm not a Sidney Brown truther yet. I like the potential. I think he can play the role, but I don't think I've seen anything on the field yet from Sidney Brown to think for sure that he's going to be able to fill the role of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I personally do not yet. But we shall see. I'm not there at practice. I'm not the one seeing him all year long. So, maybe he's doing something off the field or in practice that they like, but I fully expect a depth safety signing somewhere. And Justin Simmons is not the only guy available, but I'm not sure fit of everybody else that's available. Bring in Simmons to compete with Sidney, unless they think Simmons washes Sidney in a competition. There's that too. Are they so locked in that they want Sidney Brown to succeed that they don't want someone that can beat him out? They'd rather have somebody coach him up than beat him out in the position. Yeah, and even on special teams, Sidney Brown is not perfect. He's got this motor, this unstoppable motor. Problem is with Sidney Brown, he doesn't know how to throttle down that motor. And when you're on special teams, sure, you can just go full speed ahead, 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. But when you're playing safety against different styles of offenses, you got to know when to go full speed and when to slow down. You got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And I'm not sure I've seen anything from Sidney Brown that knows how to do that yet. Because he blows by people on special teams many times. Like he's boom, power, big hit. The next time he's big whiffing because he just runs full speed ahead. So I don't know. But what I do know is their defense, Jellickson 24, Keely Ringo 22, Sidney Brown 24, Trot Jr. 22, Moro Jomo 23. Now Ojulari 24, Uche 26. They keep bringing in these guys. Like literally 99% of their defense, well, 90% of their team is 26 or younger. And that's something special right there. Also, Sidney plays the other safety role. Doesn't mean Reed is deep cover safety. Sidney also struggles in tackling. He struggles in tackling because of his overly aggressive nature. And that's not good. You can't be overly aggressive on defense. You can hide the over-aggressive nature on special teams. You can't on defense. And you say Reed in deep cover safety. Look, the problem is that Reed Blankenship's a good safety. But Reed Blankenship next to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is a very good safety. Reed Blankenship with a proverbial rookie in Sidney Brown, I don't know. He's also somebody that's due for an extension this offseason, Reed Blankenship. Starks, Nick, yeah. These are all the safeties the Eagles might be using next year. So, Dibs, what do you think? We really quickly got off of Ojulari and onto Sidney Brown here / Justin Simmons. Trying to figure out why Justin Simmons hasn't been brought in last year or this year. Seems like a perfect fit, but it's not happening. And it's kind of weird that it hasn't happened yet. I expect them to try. I don't know. I see a lot of mock drafts, and it took me 5 mock drafts to get Starks at 20 or 21. I don't know if Howie would trade to move up in the first round to get Starks. Find it hard to imagine Howie's MO changing that much. Now, if he fell to them at 32, I don't think he'd have a hesitation in taking Starks. But I would expect him to trade back still. And if one of those safeties is there that you like at 40, 38, 42, 44, somewhere in that range, then sure. Hell, if one of them are there in the 60s, absolutely. But I don't expect them to be overly aggressive to jump up to get one of the top safeties. It's got to be the price tag. Howie knows he needs to get cheaper this year. And he's gotten cheaper this year. But he's also not being cheap this year. Because the other Philadelphia Eagles breaking news yesterday was Lane Johnson's contract was reworked for the 970th time. Basically, an extra year added on. He's signed through 2027. Adds $8 million to it, additional $30 million in guarantees, $48 million over the next 2 years, $40 million guaranteed over the next 2 years. Howie pays his superstars very well before the market dictates even more. We're going to get into that in a minute. And then signs cheap players with huge upside that are young that could benefit from our team, our culture, our coaching staff, like Ojulari, like Uche, like Kenyon Green. I mean, I know that was a trade. Like Avery Williams or Kylan Granson or A.J. Dillon. Just think about how the offseason's going for Howie Roseman and the Eagles. Who would have thought Ojulari would be the move that would bring Eagles Nation back in? Because everybody was criticizing Howie Roseman up to that signing. But Howie's got a plan. He's got a price tag on every position. He knows Jalen Carter is going to be due for big money next year. Derek Stingley signed a 3-year, $90 million reset in the cornerback market. And I know Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean just finished their rookie seasons, but I'm already thinking 3 years into the future when their contracts are up. If Derek Stingley got $90 million in a couple of years, it's going to be $150 million for Quinion Mitchell. Howie's planting the seeds every day for not just repeating as Super Bowl champions, but also being in contention to be Super Bowl champions every single year, going on and on and on. I love the idea of a trade back too. You know, unless there's a player they really, really love. Most mock drafts, the people I see available at 32 are a lot of really solid defensive tackles, but not game-changing defensive tackles. I think there's value in trading back. There's value in picking up more future assets. You lose the 5th year, but there's gonna be a quarterback needy team that wants the 5th year on a quarterback. And this quarterback class is weak, but a quarterback needy team will see one of these guys work out and be like, you know what? At 32 with the Eagles, that's worth it to take that guy, to get that 5th year on the quarterback. And I really, truly think pick 32 will be a quarterback because of a trade with a team. That's my opinion. Good morning, Rick. Hope you're well. Phillies, World Series champions, right? We're almost a week away from the season starting. Brain Swinson, tight end Mason Taylor in round 2 would be excellent. Howie always leans towards elite tools and explosiveness, and those are 2 great fits. It seems like all the mock drafts I do, Deebs, gives me defensive tackles early in the draft instead of edge. But there's got to be some really good edge play. And I know we got Ojulari and Uche, but I still think we need one more young edge in the draft with plenty of talent or plenty of upside. I think the Ojulari and Uche is pretty much writing on the wall that Bryce Huff, they're really trying to move the guy. And there's a serious thought in my mind that he will be moved. I don't know how, but he will be moved. Eagles probably do trade back unless they make a splash trade up for a tight end, but more than likely they'll trade back. I think it's going to be one of these scenarios where we don't know until it happens on draft day. Like Howie's not going to make, like, remember when we traded with we traded up to get Devontae Smith, we traded back and then back up in, what was that, 2021? All that happened before the draft. No. This is going to be a watch the board fall. Okay, that guy is there at 15. Oh, maybe we start making some phone calls. Or we get to 32 and we stay up all night long and then nothing happens. That's how it's going to play out in my mind. Watch some team trade with Howie and take quarterback Jackson Dart. Would that be the 3rd best quarterback on the market? I know obviously you got the top 2 that'll go in the 1st round for sure. And I heard one name keeps jumping up people's boards. I'm not sure if it's Jackson Dart or not. But yeah, someone's going to see that 5th year option. Howie Roseman's going to want a 2nd and something else. Why not? Is it worth somebody in that 33 to 40 range to give up some assets to move up 5 to 8 spots to get a 5th year option on a quarterback? Yeah, it is. Yeah, Walter Nolan is available sometimes, not available other times to me. Howie's trading back with some team that wants an extra year of control on a quarterback, Anthony. But see, the thing is, and I'm okay with it, but it would also not shock me. I mean, this whole offseason's been predictable, but also odd. Like, everybody's freaking out. But yet it seems like he's got a plan. Howie knows. Howie's got a board. He's probably got 3 guys written down on a board somewhere. If those guys fall to X, then I'm pouncing on them. But he's also got 5 phone calls out there already, probably a month from the draft. If we're at 32 and X, Y, and Z are not there, who wants this pick? Definitely for a quarterback. 100% for a quarterback. Horrible year to need a quarterback. Cam Ward is a late first rounder and shoot out. Dude, Sanders, I think, is going to be one of the biggest bust quarterbacks, first round picks in a long time. Cam Ward, I mean, he's good. This is striking to be the like the EJ Manuel, Geno Smith draft. Wasn't EJ Manuel is like 15th or like I would hate to be a quarterback needy team because you got to draft the quarterback. That's what your franchises want. It's why you see so many quarterbacks floating around out there right now, and the quarterback carousel going on the way it is. Every year, a new rookie comes on the team and tries to take your job in the NFL. The pressure to compete is immense. 100%. 100% accurate. Guys, make sure you're clicking on Pixelated History's profile and subscribe. And if it won't let you do that, there's a link to the Pixelated History YouTube page in the description of this. Please help Peanut and his son grow their YouTube page. They're just a little over 100 subscribers. They do a lot of great work talking history with a little fun twist. And his comment today, are you doing a live draft show for STT? Probably. I need something to drink to while having a conversation. I honestly think this year we trade out of the first round. If I do a live draft show, then we won't be doing a Friday morning show. There's no way I can stay up till like 11, 12 o'clock at night. And then get up to do the morning show. But yes, I will do a live draft show if that's what people want. Either that or I will join in on the party on Broad / Pit and Pull podcast. Maybe we'll do a 3-way collaboration, or I'll do it myself. We'll see how it goes. But we'll definitely be pulling something together for the draft, Peanut. No doubt about it. But anyway, back to the conversation. Back to what we're discussing today. Ojulari, another youthful player, young upstart player brought in. And I just keep looking at all these ages of some of these guys. Like, I can't even believe that Keely Ringo is only 22 years old. Like, it's insane. He's been on the team for 2 years already. You keep bringing in all these young guys. I mean, outside of Leighton Johnson, I guess Jordan Mailata is a quote-unquote veteran at this point. Dallas Goedert's a over 30 player, but will he be here or not? This is a very, very, very young team. And I guess if Brandon Graham chooses retirement, he won't be here, but I still don't know what's going on there. We'll pull something together, Dimes. We'll pull something together. Definitely. Because I can't do a draft show myself because I don't know all the prospects really, really well. So Phil definitely going up with Shane for the draft. I can't watch 2 different streams at the same time. Need everyone together. We'll pull the stream together. We'll pull it together for everybody. We'll put it together for everyone. But again, the point of Howie rewarding his stars and bringing in these upside, I think word is getting around the league to agents, to players, that not only do you want to come to Philadelphia to have a chance to win a Super Bowl, you want to come to Philadelphia to play because if you're a superstar, you'll get paid. If you've got some upside potential, you'll thrive here and then get paid. And if you pull a Zach Vaughn, you'll get paid and get to stay. I think the word is out that the Eagles organization, while they get criticized for their travel and that player poll and stuff like that, and some of their facilities, I think teams know, or players know, that people want to play in Philadelphia because of how Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie reward their players. They don't pull a Cincinnati Bengals situation and wait till it's too late to pay Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I don't remember the exact number I read. But Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow combined is going to be close to 44% of the Bengals salary cap in 2026. How can you build a roster when 3 players take up almost half your cap? You can't. Did the Eagles get better? I think it's an interesting question, and I can write that down as a potential title for a show. Did the Eagles get better? Did they get better? I don't know. They got younger. They got questions. If 3 or 4 of these 8 signings turn out to be successful signings, if Ojulari and Uche, one of them has a stud season, it's a successful offseason. If A.J. Dillon is good, you're successful. If one of the 2 tight ends produces in a tight end 2 role, it's been a success so far. If Tyler Steen or Sidney Brown can start in replacements, yes, they got better. Good morning, Little G. We are now the Georgia Eagles, the Philadelphia Bulldogs. We have now, is there a record, before we get to your comment there, Anthony, is there a record for most players from one team? I think we're at 7 Georgia Bulldog players plus 1 coach on the Eagles right now. Steen, Ojulari are the most recent, obviously. Like, it's insane the amount of players from the Georgia Bulldogs that are on this team only. There's got to be a record or something like that out there in place with that. It's crazy. No, they have not gotten better yet, but they were much better than anyone else last year. Did they get better? Maybe not. Did they dip? I don't think they dip. I think at very least that they're on the same level at this point because it's so far from complete. You can't really judge if they're better or not. The only time you could do what the Bengals did is if you draft well. That defense is in trouble. Yeah. See, the thing is, the difference is the Eagles pay their big stars. They got 7 guys making over $20 million next year. And that's before the Cam Jurgens extension and before the Jalen Carter extension happens next offseason, right? So they pay their stars, but the Eagles have drafted so well. You look at that defense, it's Zach Bond and a bunch of drafted / Reed Blankenship was an undrafted free agent, right? All guys that we brought in and some prove-it deal guys for depth. Howie is nailing, like the conversation that Howie can't draft needs to end. And I still see people complaining about Howie's draft record because in 2016, he didn't draft well or whatever year. Starting in 2020, Howie's nailed every single draft. Salute to the 4% of the Sixers payroll that gave Houston 100%. They did give 100%. I don't know if it was high-quality hoops, but it was good hoops, okay? My biggest concern is Sidney Brown. That's the only position I'm wary about, his injury history and recklessness. That was kind of what Marshawn and I spoke about to kick off the show, that Sidney Brown might just be a special team. And I still think they bring someone in through the draft and a vet. I think they bring 2 people in at safety, a veteran and a draft pick. I suggested earlier, at the very least, you got to bring in a Terrell Edmonds type veteran on a cheap deal that you can cut after week 1 or week 2 or trade at the deadline or whatever. Like, that's literally what you got to do. Anthony got facts this morning. Well, we all got facts. Just the facts, man. I say the loss of Sweat is a starting edge and valuable depth. Milton puts slight depth. See, the thing is, Sweat is an overrated player. You would use the cool word. He's very mid. You got Ojulari and Uche to fill that role, and whoever you draft, and I'm okay there. Milton Williams, Moro Ojomo is going to fill that role, but the problem is Moro Ojomo played a lot last year. So who's going to fill Moro Ojomo's role? So that's a big question there. And then there's the question of what you do with Jordan Davis, who's eligible for an extension or next year. May something you got to pick up, like May 10th or something like that. You got to pick up Jordan Davis' 5th-year option or decline it. So we got about 2 months left to figure out what to do with Jordan Davis, which I think is a big, big issue that I don't think, out of all the things Howie's got planned, the thing I think he's confused the most about is what do we do with Jordan Davis? I know, seriously, Dives. Seriously. Boy out there balling for his next contract, trying to screw up our tankathon. I don't know. How many thumbs up? We start the show at 473 subscribers and no likes. How many likes? Please hit that like button, that subscribe button, that share button. It's free to do. How we drafted Carter, Dean, DeJean, Mitchell. Absolutely. Howie has not missed on a complete draft since 2020, before 2020. Maybe even 2019. What was the Dallas Goedert draft was 2018. So I think maybe 2019 wasn't very good. But Howie's hitting every single draft class now. 2, 3, 4 guys. Just think about last year's draft class. Obviously, the 2 cornerbacks. Then you throw in Jelix Hunt into the equation and how he was effective. I mean, Howie's nailing it in the draft, time in and time again. Ojulari isn't the best cover guy. Him fitting a Fangio scheme may be pretty. It's a stretch, a big stretch. I like the upside of it, Nooms. You got him and Uche, 2 guys, 24, 26 years old. High pedigree. Ojulari's a second-round pick. 22 sacks. Ojulari, my biggest concern with Ojulari is his health. The guy's only played 46 games in 4 years. Only played a full season once in his career. His rookie year, 4 years ago. That would be my biggest concern with Ojulari. That's why you still need another defensive end edge unless you think you can resurrect Bryce Huff. I've always said that Josh Sweat was okay. I never said mid because I don't talk like a 12-year-old. I don't use mid and bet and those kind of words. I use human words. But Josh Sweat's a streaky, solid player. Got a good story. Almost had a career-ending injury. Bet on himself. Almost was the Super Bowl MVP. And he got paid. Arizona will regret the Josh Sweat contract by week 5. People are going to be talking in Arizona podcast world. Oh, my God, we got this huge dead cap number. We can't get rid of him. He's killing us now, Josh Sweat. They're going to realize that very quickly. Every year, AJ goes to team and gets paid, fizzles out and cut, and goes back to Vikings. What? Who? I'm sorry, I don't understand that. You see the Rockets pushing our young guys around. That was I watched actually a few minutes of it, and I wasn't paying attention, but then I heard Allah or Kate say something on the air, and it drew my attention. And there was a big push and shoving match going on there, trying to get under the skin of the young guys. Ojulari, former second-round pick, and Uche. Uche was with the Chiefs. Uche was with the Chiefs and Patriots. Patriots most of the career, then the Chiefs. And Ojulari was with the Giants the last 4 years. If someone told me 3 years ago that we would have Mitchell, Davis, Carter, Bond, Smith, Coop, Dean, and Hunt. We're forgetting about Nakobe Dean, too, on defense. I would have went to bed thinking we were primed to have a good year. Exactly. Again, please click Peanut's YouTube page there and subscribe, guys. Booch is loose on Twitter. Booch, you got to check in on YouTube, too. I like the move for Aziz. I'm trading drafting for a defensive end. Trayvon Walker is on my radar. I mean, that would be one of those big Howie moves, going and getting Trayvon Walker for sure. And I'm torn on what we need more, defensive tackle or defense. I think if nothing happens with Jordan Davis by the draft, that first pick will tell us what the Eagles are going to do with Jordan Davis. If they draft one of those defensive tackles at 32, Jordan Davis might be gone sooner rather than later. Is there a scenario where they trade Jordan Davis and let another team decide to pick up Jordan Davis's 5th-year option? That would be a confusing move, but something that could happen. A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon hasn't played for a lot of different teams. A.J. Dillon was hurt last year. Does Davis have trade value? I don't know what Jordan Davis' situation is. It's a very confusing situation. Very confusing situation on what to do with Jordan Davis. If you pick up his 5th-year option for next year, I think it's $12.8 or $11.8 million. You could decline it and let him go into this year as a free agent. You renegotiate him on a 2-year, 3-year cheaper deal. You could trade him in a package in the draft. I don't know what you do with Jordan Davis. I think it's one of those very, very tough calls. Is he worth $13 million next year? I don't know. Is he worth committing 3 more years and maybe $20 million to? At the 35% snap count that he plays? I don't know. Would another team see value in him? Or the ability to maybe get more snaps out of him? I don't know. I don't know what you do with Jordan Davis. But I think if nothing happens by draft night, you'll get your Jordan Davis answer by what Howie Roseman does in the draft. Jalen Carter ain't going anywhere. Jalen Carter is going to be the highest paid player in the NFL, not quarterback-wise, next offseason. We have a very good defense, but let's not also pretend we didn't luck out against a patchwork O-line that was extremely poor matchup against a very agile Eagles front. I'm not sure here. So we have a very good defense, but we got lucky. That seems very Chris Simpleton or Dan Sillyman or Nick Wrong kind of comment there. Not giving the Eagles credit for what they did. Saying we got lucky says you're taking away what they were what they accomplished, in my opinion. I don't think they got lucky. I think they just outplayed their opponent. It's hard to say because the pay $12 million to everyone nowadays. That is true. $12 million is not, in salary cap world, what it used to be. That is for sure. But also, is $12 million for a rotational guy that's used as little as he is? I don't know. Jalen Carter will be able to buy the Eagles, yeah. I mean, Jalen Carter, right now, the highest paid non-quarterback is Jamar Chase at $40.25 million a year. Jalen Carter will beat that. Jalen Carter will make a minimum of $42 to $43 million a year. At least. 100%. Looks like Fangio really likes Africans on his D-line. Ojomo, Uche, Ojolari. There's some names. There are some names there. Good morning, Dante. What's up, my man? We have a very good defense, but we got lucky. That's it. Exactly. Like, I don't, no offense, and I love Nooms. Nooms always brings a different perspective to everything that we're talking about. But I think the choice of word lucky devalues the accomplishment. And I'm not devaluing a damn thing the Eagles did last year because they all played their roles to perfection last year. Everybody did, top to bottom, right down to the equipment manager, the laundry department, and the guy that vacuums the carpets in the locker room. For the Super Bowl, are you talking about? Okay. So the Eagles had the better team because of the way they built their team, not because they got lucky. Sorry, I think you're devaluing what they did last year by saying luck instead of one being better than the other. The Eagles didn't miss a beat when they had to patch together missed games for Becton or Lane Johnson. They kept on rolling because they built a team to fill the holes when the holes were there. If you're talking about the Chiefs, if the Chiefs were built so well, they would have had an answer. Their coaching would have coached up the next guy up to be better. That's my opinion. But the Eagles are built on every level. They're coached for that next man up. Packers and Rams were harder matchups. And yet, I'm sorry, what happened in those games? Pretty sure the same lucky team won those games too, right? Just because we faced the Chiefs and not whoever else in the Super Bowl, you can't devalue what they accomplished. That's my opinion. This team is built at every level. There's a backup at every level. There's coaching at every level that gets every guy on the 53-man roster ready to go every single week. Like, the only injuries, the only time we ever really were concerned, not even, I don't think there was a single injury this past year that the next man up eventually did not fill that role in a decent enough way. Like, I know there was a few moments with Tristan McCollum that he looked a little sketch, but eventually he settled down. Offensive line was fine when they needed it. Yeah. Walter Nolan is the only defensive tackle in this draft better than Jordan Davis. Well, if they draft Walter Nolan, maybe that explains then what they plan on doing with Jordan Davis. I don't know. I think that the Dallas Goedert situation is fun to talk about, extension, cut, trade. I think the Jordan Davis situation is the one that I can't put my finger on the most. We can only play who we were scheduled to play. We just happen to dominate in every position. Exactly. We just beat everybody. Why? Because we were better. First stringers, second stringers, third stringers. That's it. Carter is going to get fourth year, fifth year option money, and 2 years of franchise tag money guaranteed. Everything else is headline fodder. They're not going to use the franchise tag on Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter is going to get a massive contract extension in the offseason. I'm saying next offseason. Massive. He's going to get a 4-year, $165, $170 million deal with about 130, 140 guaranteed. Unless you're saying the franchise tag will be the price per year, then maybe I understand what you're saying. Do you think us staying healthy is attributed to the team being younger? I think it's a contributing factor that they're younger, but it's also a contributing factor the way they handle their offseason. Less padded practices, less hitting, more days off, shorter practices, shorter but more intense practices. I was a little critical of Howie Roseman Nick Sirianni's first year, the way he was running off OTAs and training camp, but it seems to work. We're no longer like 2020, where we had, 27 starting offensive line configurations in 16 games. I think it's the way they manage their players, manage the injuries, the way they're cautious, the way their team is younger. But the younger thing doesn't play into account. You kept Saquon Barkley mostly healthy all year. He's older. And he had a huge amount of touches. So I think it's a combination of all of it. I think somebody like Ojulari, who has had injuries, sees that he can come here and be a part of the rotation and maybe stay healthy is a big thing. No. You used the word franchise tag in your thing. I just wanted to make sure I was clear on what you were saying. I thought, and for the first read through, I thought you were saying he was going to get a franchise tag. Then I reread it and said, I think you meant that the dollar amount will be equal to the franchise tag, which is then what it is. Gotcha, Keith. We're on the same page now. I'm saying 4 years, somewhere between 165, 170 million, with about 130, 135 guaranteed. That's where Jalen Carter's deal is going to be. And then with that, I don't think you can keep Jordan Davis after that. As much as Jarrett Verse disrupted things, he started trying to slide the line and tried to be a hero instead of keeping his lane. Eagles are more disciplined on D. Absolutely. Because it takes a culture to be disciplined. It takes everybody buying into the ultimate goal that no one's stats, Jalen Hurts, are more important than the W in Super Bowl. That's it. If I'm Howie, I trade up and take tight end Tyler Warren and I'm giving up multiple picks plus Huff and Goddard. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. It's going to take a lot. I mean, Tyler Warren, to ensure you get Tyler Warren, you might have to move up to 10 to 12. You're talking 20 picks up in the first round to get Tyler Warren. I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all. D linemen that fit the Eagles' MO of elite length and explosiveness. Nolan, Mikael Williams, Shemore Stewart, Darius Alexander, and Josh. I see Josiah Stewart a lot when I run mock drafts available to the Eagles. And I've taken him in the second round a bunch of times in mock drafts. I only post a few, but I run it a lot. And guys, please, if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe button. We're past the 20 concurrent viewers. Please hit subscribe. We started at 473, assuming we're still there, but please, let's keep sharing, subscribing, liking. Greatly appreciate it, guys. Did we figure out how to get rid of Bryce Huff yet? No. No, we did not. Haven't even figured out if he is. To me, in a small window, I hope for the Bryce Huff redemption story this season. It's a huge cap hit to trade him. Huge dead cap hit. But they figured out ways around that before. I don't know what to do with Bryce Huff, how to get rid of him, how to trade him, how to convince a team that he's still decent. In my opinion, Tyler Warren is a borderline top 10 guy. I don't know if I'm wasting. That's a lot of draft capital and players and to move up 22 spots just to 10. It's taking next year's first probably, along with this year's first, right? Maybe. Are you doing that? I'm not doing that. You're going to give up multiple second and third round picks? It's a lot. It's a lot to get Tyler Warren, a tight end. Who was the last top 10 tight end taken? Kyle Pitts. That didn't really work out. No, Brock Bauer was too last year. I'll draft safety, edge, and linebacker in some order. If it was that order, and good morning, Barbara. Hope you're well. Based off of Howie's MO, it would be the edge in the first round, safety in the second round, linebacker in the third round. But if Starks is there and you can trade up to get him pretty cheaply later in the first round, maybe you do see him go safety. Maybe you do. I would doubt he would draft a linebacker in the first round, probably even a second round, with the money they committed to Zach Bond, and they're still slightly hopeful with Nakobe Dean and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Stewart fits the system like a glove. I don't care where he went to college. Everyone knows you care where he went to college. Do we care? I don't think we care. But do we? You never know. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out where he went to college. Michigan. Oh, that's the whole thing there. It's a Michigan comment. That's right. I was going to say Michigan State, but it was a Michigan. Wanted to make sure I got my information accurate there. But yeah, he seems to fall to the Eagles in the second round a lot in my mock drafts, and sometimes in where I have some, I don't want to say mocks, even later in the first round when I've mocked different things. And guys, there's only 10 likes on this video. There's over 20 people watching on YouTube right now, and there's only 10 likes on this video. Just hit that like button. I mean, click. That's all I'm asking for. Click. It's very easy. Literally. Boom. Done. Please. Wolverines. Maybe we wouldn't go him because I don't know if Wolverines and Bulldogs mix. That's two alpha males there. There's a Wolverine and a Bulldog survive together. I don't know. So maybe we have to stay away from Wolverines here. Speaking of Michigan State, it is March Madness, and I'm just going to throw this out there. I have become so tapped out on college basketball over the last few years that let me tell you something. I don't even have a bracket filled out for March Madness. I just lost interest, fell behind on college basketball, and I don't care. But what I did do, in honor of my man Jason Sullivan, a proud Michigan State graduate, I dropped a $5 on Michigan State to win March Madness, 33-1. Just so you know. 33-1. I dropped the fiver. Michigan State to win. Not bad. But I don't know anything about them. Nothing at all. Brandon Graham is a Wolverine. That is true. That's true. And for Warren, I'm giving up a Herschel Walker to Vikings. Wow. That's another bold strategy, Cotton. Very bold strategy. Not trying to get behind that. Who's the better cornerback prospect? I don't know. I don't know about that. What are we talking about today? We're still talking about the Eagles and how great Jalen Hurts is, Zach. The Phillies are on the agenda. If you want to talk Phillies, Zach Wheeler officially named opening day starter, which is great. We could talk about Phillies absolutely always and every day. March Madness and why? What happened to me? I was a guy that would try to take off for March Madness. Used to love it. Now, I can't get into it. Florida versus Houston in the final game of March Madness. Couldn't even tell you where they're ranked in the brackets. Phil Boomer said on Boomer Size said on radio he wants Giants to sign Wentz. Can you imagine him? I didn't hear that, but that's a good pull from you. Yeah. Could you imagine him trying to reclaim his career with the Giants, but having to come to Philly or play Philly twice? Oh my God, they'd be 2 fun weeks on this show. Talking Carson Wentz on the Giants as their starting quarterback. That's for sure. Did the Eagles really lose any major impact players? Chauncey Gardner, you can argue, yeah, and I would say Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And I said this. I have a poll, a poll going, and well, it was over. We talked about it yesterday. Who will make the most impact on their next team? And it's got to be Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Milton Williams thrived next to Jalen Carter in a very small role, 45%. He's going to be asked to play a lot more snaps. Josh Sweat is a rotational guy, streaky guy. Mekhi Becton, we don't even know if he's any good or not. Based off the price tag, the league doesn't know if he's any good either. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is the only real impactful loss the Eagles had so far. Phillies win the World Series. I know. Michigan State has an elite freshman and Jace Richardson. He's super good. Jason always tells me such high things about Michigan State. I just figured 33-1 on a Tom Izzo-led team that's the number 2 seed in their bracket. Thought it was a good, solid value bet. I saw value at 33-1 on Michigan State. How far do you think the Phillies will go this year? Well, next week, I'm working on some guests for next week. So my official predictions will be then. But I'm predicting about 92 to 95 wins. They make the wild card. We'll probably say somewhere around the NLCS is a lock. But I don't know if they can make it to the World Series or not. Rick always says that they're going to win the World Series. I hope they do. Will they? I don't know. We'll see. Good morning, Bruce Bryce Harper. Hope you are well this morning. Is great at college? Yeah, probably. But I can only watch so much sports. I do so many shows. I work a damn lot. Certain sports kind of got pushed to the side. Sometimes I get a little upset that I pushed some to the side. I never got upset that I pushed college basketball to the side. But yes, we can all agree that the NBA is garbage. I'm always doing well, Bruce. Every day is a holiday. Every day is a beautiful day in the neighborhood, my man. I don't know who's on these college teams anymore, so I can't. Yeah, I think that's part of it, for sure. I can't get excited about the teams at all. My point is the Eagles have 4 more years of control of Carter. He's not going to be the highest paid non-quarterback. He will get $80 million guaranteed. I don't know about that, Keith. I mean, we'll disagree on that. If I'm playing, the thing is with Howie will beat, if Jalen Carter is 160, just say, but you wait 2 more years, then you're looking at 220. It's kind of like I'm just spitfiring, ballparking these numbers, Keith. Howie gets ahead of the market on these kind of deals. And I'll see him doing it again to Jalen Carter. Absolutely. I'm not disagreeing that it's better. But, yeah. Keith, when the time comes, Howie will pony up. That's a real reason why there's so many cheap 1-year deals going out right now, Barb. Because he knows he's got to pay him next year. Tom Izzo needs to resign. Team to watch St. John's. I'm a huge Tom Izzo fan just because of the way he always has team ready to play in the March Madness. How do you feel Trey Turner leading off. I love Trey Turner leading off. I just feel that the first sign of trouble of either Trey Turner leading off or Kyle Schwarber not leading off, that Rob Thompson will flip them back to, jumpstart one of them. Then one of them will get jump-started back in their old role, and he'll just leave it like that. I don't have the confidence in Rob Thompson sticking to a plan like Trey Turner leading off all year long. Let's talk Phillies after the regular season. We know how they do. Exactly. That's the problem with the Phillies. It's the problem with the Phillies. I'd be shocked if the Phillies win a playoff series. I mean, that's the problem with this team. The expectations of the Phillies in the regular season versus the expectations of the Phillies in the playoffs are two totally different things. Well, the playing games start tonight, and then the regular tournament starts Thursday. Please like this video, yes. Carson Wentz needs to bring his food truck to the Big Apple, show him how to finesse a chopped cheese sandwich. What? Hill is, to me, a very different type of player than he's equally as valuable. And yes, NBA is garbage. Yes. Howie doesn't pay these guys early to overpay. He doesn't overpay. What he does is he pays them less than what the value will be if you waited another year or two. Take, for example, the A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith extensions compared to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. He beat it. Schwarber has a mental block about hitting anywhere but leadoff. Exactly, and that's the problem that I'm concerned about. That's why I'm concerned about Trey Turner leading off, because Kyle Schwarber will come out and hit 180 the first 2 weeks in that 4-hole, and Rob Thompson like, we need to jumpstart Schwarber. We'll put him in the leadoff, and they'll get his average up to 195, and Rob Thompson will be like, see, that's it. We'll just leave it like that for now. It's a Rob Thompson thing for me. Patino will have St. John's team ready to run. Is Patino still the St. John's coach? Well, I can't like St. John's then. Rick Pitino's a scumbag. Hill doesn't get the press because Will Johnson, but having Hill here wouldn't ruin my day. That's for sure. Rob Thompson needs something. That's for sure. How do you feel about the Phillies offseason? They did absolutely nothing. Like I've talked about it before, Zach. I hated it. I hated it. Max Kepler, that was your big move. And well, the Luzardo addition to the starting rotation is very strong, very solid. Huge fan of Luzardo signing. Huge upside there. But the rest of it, offensively speaking, I think they needed to shake things up. Coaching or offensively, they did neither. And that concerns me. It does. But their starting pitching is going to be the best in the league. After the 23 collapse of the Eagles, everybody doubted them like a lot of people. I didn't doubt them after 23. Didn't. I doubt the Phillies, but I didn't doubt the Eagles, just so you know. I would much rather Trey Turner concentrate on getting on base and creating havoc than having him hitting for power. Maybe this will help that. I doubt it, though. I think we'll be having a conversation about Trey Turner's contract maybe at some point. But I think they're going to try him at leadoff. We'll see. I disagree. I think it is the Dodgers that they have the best. Oh, okay. Sorry. I was just overreacting. They have a top 3 rotation in baseball. Their bullpen scares me big time. I know Jose Alvarado's having a fantastic spring, but their bullpen is sketchy to me. And their lineup disappears. That's the problem. Phillies top 5 infield in MLB, top 3 starting staff in MLB. Top 3 starting staff for sure. Top 5 infield, I think, is debatable. Definitely top 10. Somewhere between 5 and 10 is where I've got the Phillies infield right now. Without Bone, to me, he's still good, but I don't know. Trey Turner, we don't know. Bryson Stott, hopefully, is healthy and rebounds, but we don't know. Bryce Harper's the only sure thing in the infield. So disappointed in Dave. He has done nothing to improve the team. Yeah. Deebs don't know. What? Rob Thompson isn't coaching the Eagles, and Howie isn't doing contracts for Phillies. 2 different worlds. It's true. It's true. Very true. Me Too is in response to disappointing in Dave Dombrowski. Absolutely. There was nothing okay but NBA Sunday, and I passed. Yeah. He didn't even talk to Juan Soto. I don't know if he didn't talk. I'm sure there was a conversation with the agent. I'm sure he checked in. just to put feelers into the water there. But I don't think Juan Soto was ever in play. And I don't know if I would have put Juan Soto into play with the Phillies. I don't. I'm not positive on that. But I would have at least commented on it or discussed it. Bohm, Turner, Harper, Realmuto, all going to be all-stars this year. Well, they all have been before. Realmuto concerns me about his health and his age. Harper, never worried about Bryce Harper. Trey Turner was a perennial MVP candidate in the past, so he could be a great player. Bohm, I don't know. I kind of feel like he was so expected to be gone after the offseason, and he wasn't. I don't know. I've got this gut feeling that Alec Bohm's going to have a little bit of a little dip in his production this year. Howie would be a much better GM than Dave has been. Well, Howie's the GOAT. Soto had no desire to come here, so why waste time? Yeah, I don't think he wanted to play here. I don't think so. And I don't think the Phillies were serious about bringing him here, but they should have at least made a phone call. Don't forget about Nick. I don't forget about Nick Castellanos. I'm a Nick Castellanos fan. I think Phil should have stayed on yesterday. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to be shutting this down in like 5-10 minutes. JT is done. They're going to have to make the tough call on JT and let him walk in the offseason probably. Problem is they don't have a replacement ready to go. Phils are built for 162-game success. Their age just plays against them now. Our only hope is Bohm, Stott, Rojas sharply improve. They're built for 162 games. I agree with you on that, Noobs. The problem is they're not built for a 7-game series. There's a big difference between being built for a 162-game regular season and the best-of-7 series in the playoffs. And that's where the problem with the Phillies come in. That's the problem. Turner and Stott are my concerns. I would say Bohm and Stott. Stott because it turns out he was hurt. Well, does he rebound or not? And Bohm because I think there's a dip. I think Trey Turner in leadoff will be better. It's will they keep him in leadoff? I don't know. Who's going to be an all-star? What did I miss your last? Oh, Nick Castellanos being an all-star. Gotcha. Sometimes I got to put comments together to figure out what we're talking about here. They could be. I like Nick Castellanos. He's streaky. He's exactly what everybody else is, streaky. Dre, what about that? Correction, Phillies are built for 81 games according to the AI. They were built through London. Then after London, they were borderline average. 8 all-stars. Exactly. I mean, this sums up why I feel the way I do about the Phillies. Because those 8 all-stars all could be all-stars again this year. There might be 9. Problem is, are they built for the playoffs? And I don't think they are. You can't. I could do whatever I want, and this does not pay the bills. The pizza shop does, and I've got 4 large catering orders over the next 3 days, and I got to get in and start working. Got to pay the bills. So true, Phil. In a short series, other teams' pitching will exploit how pathetic Nick is. Phillies have too many easy outs in a short series. Yes. Rob Thompson fired, hopefully. I mean, I would have done it in the offseason. If you weren't going to change your players, you had to change the person sending the message to the players. And that was Rob Thompson. At the very least, you should have fired your hitting coach, Kevin Long. I mean, they literally made absolutely no changes. None. He's not tricky, dude. He's the only dude who shows up in the playoffs who hit the damn baseball. Everyone else besides Bryce Harper. All-State. I know you mean All-Stars, but All-State? Is this an All-State commercial? Is this like an insurance commercial? Who won the first half? Who cares who won the first half, right? Who cares who wins the first half? Who cares who's the best team? And I hate how when you criticize the Phillies, well, it's a long season. They're still going to win 92 games. That's what you can talk. Oh, you're a Rob Thompson hater. No. I see the big picture. And I see the big picture. This team is not built for playoff success. Can't fire Kevin Long. He is buddies with Bryce and the guys. That's the problem. We got too many buddies and not enough teammates. You know all the fake media-driven drama between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown on a yearly, weekly, daily basis. Yeah, they might not be best friends I've ever had. But you know what? They respect each other and have a goal. Nick Sirianni's not loved by everybody, but everybody respects him. The Phillies are just Bryce Harper and his gang of merry men. That's it. And that's the problem. It's too comfortable in the Phillies clubhouse, where with the Eagles, there's accountability. The Phillies have no accountability in their locker room. And that's the biggest difference between the Phillies and the Eagles, is the lack of accountability. If Cassie continues his altered approach at the plate, that's another mark in their favor. Yes. So you want to tell me that everybody in the playoffs who hits the baseball, that's not what happened this past playoffs. What? Bohm and Cassie had career years, and they're going to do it again. Dump Marsh. Marsh is a curious case to me. I saw a lot when we first traded for him. Saw a lot of potential there, but I don't know. Turner needs to grow up here. Maybe Turner could be that guy that holds everybody accountable. I don't think he will, but he could. Would Kyler Murray have more rings if he was an Eagles quarterback? No. Kyler Murray is not a good quarterback, okay? And I hate this whole narrative. Oh, you put any quarterback on the Eagles, they win. No. That's not true. I like when people say Stott is too small to hit with power, even though he's 6'3". Bryson Stott's 6'3". I mean, I'm actually kind of shocked when you said that. I mean, I've never stood next to him. He looks so small on the screen. He looks like this big on my screen. Yeah, Kyler Murray sucks. I think that's, that's what happened. Castellanos and Bryce Harper are the only two people who had big hits in the playoffs, but you want to tell me pretend that – I'm not pretending nothing happened. We won one playoff. We as a team, we massively disappeared. It's just not good enough. Castellanos disappears at times throughout the season. This entire team disappears at times. That's why it's so easy for them to disappear in a short 7-game series. It's just that's the problem. Happy Gilmore 2 movie trailer drop. You know what I'll be doing after the show? Kyle Schwarber is a fly ball hitter with a high strikeout rate. He's a streaky home run hitter. That's not leadoff attributes. And he's not the leadoff hitter, technically speaking, at this point, but I feel like they'll revert back to it very quickly. Castellanos, he's the dude who continued to hit the damn baseball, is ridiculous. I've not forgotten anything about what Nick Castellanos said or did. But what he did do or get us? I don't care about one player not disappearing. I care about the team disappearing. I'm saying the team disappeared, not one specific player. There's a big difference there between team and a player. This is not an individual sport. This is a team sport. Teams win championships, not players. I don't want an MVP. I want a Super Bowl. I don't want an MVP. I want a World Series. If it wasn't a personal change needed as much as a team philosophy change. That comes from Rob Thompson. Castellanos did not disappear. Oh, my God. Your love for Castellanos is exactly equal to your hatred of Jalen Hurts. Harper needs a Pete Alonso year, 45 home runs. Yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if he could return and, try to compete for an MVP again. And eat Nick off the seesaw. Well, one loves him, one hates him. So let's just call it down the middle and say, whatever. There is. I mean, he just is that good. Just so you know. Oh, my God. Anthony and Zach, come on. We're all friends. We're all family. Hate is a strong word, okay? Nobody hates anyone. We just have opinions. Relax. Castellanos routinely shows up. We get too personal sometimes in the chat. Relax. There's only like 3 minutes left in the show. Can we kiss and make up? Freddie or Anthony, I need you to say something nice about Zach. And Zach, say something nice about Anthony. That's all I need from you. And guys, please hit that like button and that share and subscribe button. There should be well north of 20 likes, and I know there's not. So please. Stott and Marsh are the weakest links. Maybe, Barb. We need something here. Now you have to say something nice about both of them. Exactly. He's the only dude who shows up. Thank you. But see, I think you're missing the point, Zach. You asking me questions about the Phillies, and I'm talking about the team, not players. That's it. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't... This is not the Dan Sillyman show. This is Trending in the AM, where we all get along, where we're all friends. All right? Well, that we can all agree on. Actually, I can't even agree. I have pity on Joel Embiid. Mitchie Poo. Pity. That's what I have. Anyway, guys, tomorrow, don't miss it. Set the alarm. Set the notification bells to on. Tomorrow, the great JP Zapata, AKL El Parcero, will be joining us at 8:30 for up to an hour. He told me he could stay on to talk all Philly sports. Phillies, Flyers, Union, Eagles, Sixers. We're going to go 5 for 5 with JP Parcero tomorrow. Can't wait. Love him. One of the best in the business. So keep that in mind, guys. Zach, he's a hug. I like hugs. Deep down, the most inner parts of my heart is the hate I have for all. No, stop. Dodgers won the World Series with one hand tied behind their back last year. True. Castellanos has a high chase rate. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You're not going to say something nice. All right. How's the most hated athletes list coming on? I got the names. I just didn't have time to sit down and do the slideshow. Yes, he is the PHLY guy. Old friend of mine. We used to work together here and there on shows a lot. JP is one of the nicest individuals in all of content creation. I know him as El Parcero. But yeah, JP's his real name. I didn't know his real name until like a year after I met him, so I just would always call him Parcero. But yes, soccer guy. He's also a hockey guy, and he loves all Philadelphia sports. Very passionate about his community and his culture. So yeah, we got it all tomorrow with JP. We'll do the first 30 minutes, me and you guys, and then we'll get into it with JP at some point tomorrow. So you're gonna. Are they? I thought I don't even know. I'm gonna do my Union research for tomorrow for sure, Barb. But I love El Parcero. He's one of the best. Good, cool. Does he like the Philadelphia Wings? What is that? I know what that is. What did I do to make Barb block me? I'm confounded. You're blocked. I don't know. Oh man. Underrated, Phil. Who? Parcero? Oh yeah. Should never have gotten fired from PHLY. I'm not going to ask him about his time at PHLY. I wouldn't want to put him on the spot to have to say anything about that tomorrow. But yeah, we'll talk sports with him tomorrow. And maybe what's next in his life. But anyway, guys, we got to wrap it up. I got to get to work. Everybody have a great Tuesday. Tune in 6 o'clock tonight, where we got Fairway to Heaven, Valspar Championship. And we'll be back tomorrow with El Parcero. Everybody have a great Tuesday. Go Birds. And bubbles up.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 pop.